At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
I'm doing everything I can. And stop calling me Shirley.
The center has to be at least 3 times bigger than this.
All right, it's another edition of Sincerely Unqualified. I'm Kevin. As always, we have Winnie. Today, we are doing Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Now, if you're new with us, please like, rate, subscribe, do all that good stuff if you enjoy the episode. Other than that, Winnie, what's been up? How's the week been?
You know, we had a great Sunday. Not you, but I did.
All right, relax. Yeah.
The Giants are going to win the NFC East. We're going to the playoffs. We're going to be
good. At this point, I'm not arguing that.
We're going to be sneaky good. We're going to be killing it in the playoffs. I guarantee we get past the first round. Guarantee. And then
guarantee you get past the first round of the playoffs?
Of the playoffs, yeah. Let's do it.
Dude.
Giants are good, man. Giants are good.
No,
other than that, I mean, I've just been... There's a lot of good movies that have popped up on Netflix recently. I got to be honest.
Like what?
I mean, there's obviously a non-comedy movie, The Impossible, a drama that popped up. That's great. Young Tom Holland, like a 12-year-old Tom Holland is in that. Spider-Man. And then we had, things like Ghosts of Girlfriends Past pop up, which I haven't watched in so long. Got to be honest. Matthew McConaughey said, in his past interviews recently, he didn't want to be a rom-com guy anymore. Look, I understand him getting out of that scene, but he was so good in that movie. Like, there's no denying that movie was a great rom-com in its day. And it still is.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like with the likes of Matthew McConaughey, you really can't knock him for wanting to not do rom-coms. Like, look, with the likes of Matthew McConaughey, very good-looking guy, charismatic as can be, super cool, great actor, can bring the humor. He is the perfect person for a rom-com. Yeah. But when you have the chops like that and you get all those movies and you start calling your own shots, that's when you throw in Dallas Buyers Club and you look at Ghost of Girlfriends Past and you're like, nah, I'm all right. I'm just going to do what I want at this point.
Exactly. You look at those and you're like, I'm glad I did them to get where I am, but let's move forward a little bit. Let's go past this.
No, I mean, especially like he's a very peculiar, cool, whatever you want to call it, person. Like even if he was super normal, didn't like really care about fame or anything, which I don't think he does. I mean, I understand him not really wanting to go the rom-com route anymore. But
the only thing he does with his fame is stand on the sidelines of Texas football games. Like, that's what he does. That's what he uses it for. Otherwise, he's like, I love
the football games, but I think one of my favorite clips, and if you're ready, if you want to go off the top of your head, I'm ready to do, I think a top 3. I'm thinking of 2 right now, but just favorite clips on the internet. One would be McConaughey wearing his like burnt orange suit, no tie at the Texas basketball game. And then for the people looking at it, he just looks over at people on the bench and does the 2-finger raise, like looks at, like, come on, get up, boys. And then number 2, I do know my top 3. And I can't think of an order right now. But so that would be one of them. 2 would be the high school players. There's like this kid that gets super into it. He's like, they're not going to hit him. And then this kid just pops up on the screen. It's like this local news broadcast. And he goes, I think I got my swagger back. Oh, you know that guy?
Yep.
And then 3, I gotta go. And honestly, this has to be number 1 is back up, Terry. Put in reverse.
Back up, Terry. What are you doing, Terry?
They're lighting the fireworks.
My number 1 of all time is probably the guys arguing about the Wizard of Oz witch when he's like, and she came down in a bubble, bro. You're going to tell me that I'm wrong? You're going to look at me and tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong? I'm going to stab him. Like, that lives in my head.
Hot take, though?
Yeah.
Or maybe not a hot take.
Is he wrong?
That's staged, right? That's staged.
I don't
like
think
that's
so.
That they didn't just start filming in the middle of a conversation that they were just having. I hate to be the cynic because it's an
I
all
don't
time. It's an
think
all time.
so.
I
The
agree.
rage seems so real.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The
That's a
rage
good
just
point.
seems so real.
I wonder if he's like a good actor. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being cynical. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that's an all time. Sorry, keep going. I totally
The
cut
next
you off
one
there.
is actually recent, which gets me like I just can't stop laughing. It's a TikTok thing that I've seen recently, and it's just a video, and it's just Butter Dog, and it's just a dog with like a glob of butter on his head, and it's just the background noise just going Butter Dog, dog with the butter, Butter Dog, dog with the butter. It's just so dumb.
Goes over my head. Continue.
And I'm trying to think of a number 3. I mean, as always, there's the one from Classic. You know what I just saw actually recently? That's not so much a clip,
Yeah.
but I realized that I don't know if I had internalized it or just memorized it from seeing it so many times at the time, but I just saw Gangnam Style for some reason the other day.
It's a classic sigh.
Like,
All sigh.
it just doesn't leave you. It doesn't. If you were growing up during that time, it doesn't leave you.
It's coded in our DNA.
Yeah.
It's like that movie Gattaca. It's because it's like all GATT, and then there's just a PSY now because Psy is just written in their DNA. It's never going to be able to escape the brains tens of generations from now. He has a stronghold on everyone in the entire world.
I don't know any Korean. I didn't speak any Korean beforehand, but if you throw that song on, I know every word.
You're gonna be doing the horse movement.
It's just- and people now don't understand like the impact that video had at the time for no reason. It made international.
only 90s kids will remember.
Yeah, no, it's literally like if you were 13 in 2012, you know fucking Psy, you know those lyrics. Oh,
Dude,
and then there's
everyone
the
knows Psy.
then there's the Harlem Shake trend that happened.
All right,
That whole
we're not
thing.
going down this rabbit hole.
No, it's a rabbit hole. But I love Psy. Dude, it has 3.8 billion views now. I just saw 3.8 billion.
Wow. I actually, you know what? I believe it. I believe
for
it.
Psy.
It deserves every single one of those views.
I'm happy for him.
All right. Enough Psy. Let's get into flick takes. So we are doing what I believe many would say is the best rom-com of all time. I mean,
Absolutely.
that probably shows where I'm at. I think, I'm pretty sure I put this on my top 5 of all time. I don't know. Look, I love this movie. I love this movie so much. I'm a rom-com guy. I'm an Apatow guy through and through. Does it deserve top 5? I'm still up in the air. I think we're going to wait for this whole journey to end, and I'm going to revisit. Okay. What I'm saying is it very well could stay there. Incredible movie. I am not saying at all that it disappoints. I'm just saying, I think it's just because I've known for so long that it's my favorite rom-com of all time. One of my favorite comedies of all times, obviously, because it's in the top 5. Now I'm looking back at it a different way, if that makes sense. I think after so many rewatches, it kind of runs thin on you. But
Well, yeah.
this is a very rewatchable movie. There's no doubt about that. Probably this is my statement. I said some would say, to me, best rom-com of all time. 40-Year-Old Virgin absolutely gives it a run for its money.
Yeah.
I really think that I might put it, I think 1A, 1B. Just I haven't rewatched 40-Year-Old Virgin as much as I have Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Look, I think 40-Year-Old Virgin is a solid understudy. I think that it, if needed, could be replaced. Like if you were, say you're looking for a movie on a streaming service, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you look up Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and on that specific streaming service, all they have is they're like movies that you might like. And it's like 40-Year-Old Virgin. Yeah. So you're going to throw that on. You're like, oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great understudy. But if you're going one versus the other, I'm going Forgetting Sarah Marshall every single time.
Every time.
9 times out of 10, I'll go Forget It. It's just a movie that through the years, like if I see it's on, I'm going to turn it on.
Yeah, no, especially it's such a casual watch too. This
Yeah.
is a very good TV throw it on movie. Like, why not? Let's just see what's going on in this movie.
Exactly.
Wow, 9 times out of 10. And look, we tried to make different top 10s to like bring some depth to it. So you didn't put it on your top 10
and everything else.
or your honorable mentions, by the way.
Honestly, I was trying to diversify a little bit. I wanted to, because we were in a very set range, because I feel like we have very similar tastes in where we're going with the movies, and our top 10s would be very similar. Like if we were not to exclude movies, then they would be pretty much in line. But I think
That's true.
I think we're
appetite guys,
a little spice. I mean, we needed a little spice. And I think
doubt.
bringing in some other classics and everything like that was good. That being said, after rewatching it again, I think it jumps to probably number 3. I think for me, after this, it probably jumps within my top 5, 100%.
Interesting. That's
maybe it's just for the background cast, like alone, because other movies like a Superbad or something like that. Yeah, you have Bill Hader. Yeah, you have Seth Rogen. Yeah, you have our guy, Latruglio. But in this one, the background cast, I mean, it's him and Coogan all day. But now Bill Hader has entered our universe. I'm making that distinction.
Bill Hader has been in our universe. I think he's in every single movie.
I know. I'm saying like we've had Latruglio, we've had Coogan. We're stapling in Bill Hader in our universe.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Kristen Wiig is in this movie for probably 45 seconds to a minute and is just hilarious, and she's just in the background. Like she doesn't even have a name. Her name is yoga instructor. I mean, that's just it just jumps for me. I don't know. I know we're going to get into this, but I just wanted to mention like why it's going so high for me.
Yeah.
And why I love this.
So what I do want to bring up is I just checked and I was like, you know what? I think I've always actually liked 40-Year-Old Virgin more than Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I did. I haven't put it. So 40-Year-Old Virgin I have as number 2, Forgetting Sarah Marshall at number 4, which I think I'm comfortable with that still.
Really? That's not going to change?
I think I'm a 40-Year-Old Virgin guy.
Wow.
So look, I mean, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, like I said, it's probably 1A, 1B. I don't know which one I would place at which. I would have to rewatch 40-Year-Old Virgin again, see how it holds up, even though I did recently. It's just both are incredible. Let's break into Forgetting Sarah Marshall though. So something I want to bring up, which I think like it differs from a lot of other romantic comedies in this way, and it's just because it feels different. It feels like, for lack of a better word, more of a movie. You know, I think a lot of rom-coms just follow this path. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to get there. We all know where we're going. Let's just enjoy the ride. But this one, I guess Apatow basically talked to Siegel because, Siegel's the writer, and he said, just the first draft, give me a drama. Like, I just want a drama, but we'll make it funny. We're both funny people. We'll be surrounded by funny people. We'll write in jokes. We'll know how to punch it up. But what I want is a drama. And so, like, I think that they started from a really good place to make this different than most other romantic comedies would. Because
absolutely,
I haven't written one, but I have to believe that, like, you start from a funny place and then kind of develop the story as it goes.
Well, there's always what I learned from just hearing interviews and everything. For most rom-coms, the way you start is the meet cute. So the meet cute is like, there's a funny way that they meet and then they kind of intertwine. And then from there, you kind of develop the relationship. It's like when Apatow released, what was the movie with Bill Hader and what's her name? The blonde comedian.
I have no clue.
Trainwreck.
Oh.
With Amy Schumer.
Yeah, Amy Schumer.
So when he released that, there was more of the meet cute, and then like the whole story revolves around them getting together. You know, she's kind of reluctant, the whole blah, blah, blah. This, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, it starts off with a guy in his towel trying to make a song, like just in sweatpants for 7 days,
Trying to make a
gets out of the
Dracula
shower.
musical.
Yeah, exactly. It just starts off. It's not a meet cute. It's like you get your heart ripped out in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, obviously you get it though, like at the front desk with him and Mila Kunis, but like,
of
every
course.
single rom-com needs the same elements. It's just a matter of how you get there, and that's what makes this different, you know?
Exactly. And then, well, I think to your point that this movie definitely could have taken a dramatic turn where we could have been looking into the life of a severely depressed man had this not been a comedy.
Well, and I mean, we did,
that's,
you know,
no, I know. I'm saying it could have been, you know, Manchester by the Sea instead of, you know, In Line with 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, it would have been Ben Affleck trying to, you know,
Casey
end things
Affleck.
as opposed to Ben Affleck, Casey Affleck, and then rather than him in that SNL skit where it's the Dunkin' Donut skit, he's talking about smoking parliaments, and they're like making him leave the restaurant because he won't close the door. Fantastic, by the way.
Unreal.
But no, yeah, I think that's where it differs. Like, I think that is kind of what makes it more genuine of a movie than a lot of others. And I think a lot of credit to Siegel and Apatow for it. And then I'm sure we'll get into the surrounding cast, but
absolutely. For me, where this movie kind of, you know, hits more home than most is it's probably the most ruthless breakup that we've seen in a rom-com by far.
It's tough.
And you're living through it with him. So like my comparison to today, where this movie somewhat became even more relevant, in my opinion, is when he gets broken up with, tries to get away from her. Number one, he's at work and he has to see her face. He's making the music for the whole scenes. He's just, you know, constantly seeing her face. That's similar to today, where if you like don't unfollow the person on everything, you're going to just be flooded with their pictures or stories, everything like that. And that's what he was going through. Even when he's on the plane, you know, he's on the plane, the pre-flight screen was just her saying like, hope you have a good flight. And then following that, it's just the show that she's on. Yeah. And it's just her and Billy Baldwin going at it. It was probably, and then from there to not only get to the hotel to see her, but then to see Russell Brand, who's, I mean, I don't want to say underrated in his comedic acting because he's obviously created such a name for himself, but in a way he's somewhat underrated for his roles in comedy.
I don't know would you say he's underrated? Because I think he's polarizing. Like, I think people are hot or cold on Russell Brand, and I'm not going to lie, I don't really know where I fall on him. I absolutely respect him as an actor and as a comedian because he's, honestly, when you're able to be polarizing, that means that you're a great actor. Like, you play a certain character, you do all these things. If you're a bad actor, people are just like, but with Russell Brand, I think that he's kind of hit or miss. See, the thing about him is his roles are mostly the lovable, hateable guy. So it's like you can't help but like him, but also there's so many reasons to just want to hate him. Like there's so many qualities that just come back and make it feel like you can, like redeeming qualities, where it seems like even when they were on the surfboards and he's talking and he's trying to like hype him up, and then you just immediately hate him again. So it's that kind of balance that he's just so polarizing. But I feel like he's somewhat playing himself because that's what he does in interviews too. I mean, that's like what a lot of actors will say. Like, no, most actors, unless you're like Daniel Day-Lewis or, you know, like the top of the top, you're just playing a version of yourself. And like, sure, you're tapping into emotion and all that stuff to show something. But for the most part, people kind of play themselves. With Russell Brand in this movie specifically, and this is something that I kind of thought because this is such a good movie, I think the most interesting way to think about it is like kind of what went wrong. And I hate people that just sit there and just pick apart movies. But I was thinking,
Yeah.
if there was one thing, what would I say? And I think it's that I'm not too fond of Russell Brand's character. Like, I think that I think that's the weird thing, because you were talking about the redeemable parts of him. I don't know how much of it is redeemable as much as it made me laugh. And I think that that's fine. So this is what the conclusion I came to. I looked back on him and I was like, you know what? I don't know how much I actually liked him. But then, especially knowing that there's a Get Him to the Greek spinoff where they really characterize him, because he's obviously the same person. I think that it probably doesn't matter too much. Like, you can look at the four main characters, you have Jason Segel, Mila Kunis, and Kristen Bell. And then I think that Russell Brand is supposed to be kind of looked at as like this innocent bystander that home wrecks. Like, he kind of is non-complicit in the whole thing, but he also ruins everything, which I think is probably weird to write. But yeah, so like every now and then he delivers some stuff where I'm like, oh, I like him, funny British guy. But then for the most part, I don't think I like that character that much. And at the same time, like I said, I don't think it matters. And I think it was great because I also love Get Him to the Greek for them, because like it's a very complex character. And I think that's the reason I'm not necessarily crazy about him, is because it's a complex character and they needed him to be in it as much as he was and as involved as he was. But you need an entirely different movie to unpack that. So it's really of no fault of their own, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
He was more in there to be the opposite of what Jason Segel's character is. I think he was he was in there to show like it. Not solely for this reason, but definitely helps that he's in there. Like when Kristen Bell bought him the shirt and she gives him the shirt, and then there's the flashbacks to like how good Jason Segel was to her and everything like that. I think he's just in there to be obviously this homewrecker and everything like that, but just the complete opposite of what she had. And then just
it's almost like a
moments of like reflection and be like, oh yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, reflection is definitely what I would say. Like with what you said, the shirt thing, like that's a great device of being like, oh, you left this sweetheart of a guy. But when you look at Jason Segel, like he's like a lovable sweetheart teddy bear guy.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I know what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, I mean, still ruthless how it happened. How he finds out on the surfboards that it was going on for a year from Russell Brand.
Oh yeah.
Like that was just like, you were already heartbroken for him at the beginning, and it was getting better because he's like in this thing with Mila Kunis, and then they just throw that little jab at you. They're like, yeah, oh, you got 4 years on me. He's like, oh, 4 years? What do you mean? I was dating her for 5. Like, and then runs him over with the surfboard. So that was
not a great thing to do. Yeah.
There's these little innocence things that they throw into Jason Segel's character too. Where they just kind of toss him in. Yeah, exactly. And the first one within, I think the first 20 minutes, where he goes to his pediatric doctor. And I love how they did it, where it wasn't at first immediate that he's in a pediatric doctor's office. And then just the doctor's line where it zooms out, he goes, "You're sitting on a fucking fire truck. What do you mean?" Like, and then he's like, "Can you just look at my dick?" Honestly,
I forget his name. He's awesome, by the way. The doctor is awesome.
So his name is Dr. Rosenbaum, and he's played by Steve Landsberg.
Steve Landsberg, okay, yeah.
His 2 minutes in the movie are so fucking great, where he's like in the office, there's kids running around. He goes, "Look, go fuck everything. Go fuck everything. Just wear a condom, okay?"
Yeah. You know what the funny thing is? Like, this is, we'll spend very little time on this. I'll just get this out quick. So like when you think about the common archetype of the story or whatever, one of them is always in, where they talk about it in the ancient Greek thing, the person that like the ferry ride person who gets them to their destination and is a voice of wisdom or whatever. And I could be botching this, by the way. So if anyone really knows about this stuff, just disregard what I'm saying. but he kind of is that. And that's a really weird character to throw in to be like, to get him from point A to point B with wisdom, because we could have just had this movie, like you were saying, he's depressed, but like you could almost say, obviously Bill Hader plays that role. Bill Hader's like, oh, go do so-and-so, all that kind of stuff. But if I feel like if it wasn't for his doctor, he wouldn't have had these like weird sexual encounters. And then with going forward with this whole Hawaii trip. So I think that we could shout out Dr. Rosenbaum.
Shout out Dr. Rosenbaum. And honestly, I'm just going to throw this in as well. I feel like a lot of people would go to their pediatrist for their entire life if they could, because keeping that same doctor, that trust level,
it's
unmatched.
so relatable though. Like, because if I was still living in my same hometown, I would, because who else would I go to? Like,
exactly.
I haven't been to the doctor in years because I don't have a doctor. Like, I don't know where to go.
Thank you. There's nowhere else to go. Like, where am I going to go?
Yeah. What am I going to like look up on Google a family doctor and then go there? No.
Yeah.
No. But if my parents are like, you should probably get a physical, it's been 12 years, then I guess I'll go when I'm home for Christmas.
Also, there's the thing of like, I don't want a doctor who's like my age, because then it's like, oh yeah, it just gets a little seedy. I'd rather have, a doctor.
That makes it kind of fun though. Like, what if you run into you're at a brewery, you run into your doctor and you're just like, hey.
That's like people running into their therapist and be like, hey, like.
I mean, that's a whole different thing. That therapist is a little different than.
Well, then he could walk away and be like, that guy.
Yeah. Well. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't be impressed.
I can't tell you anything, but
don't get your hopes up.
Yeah. Let's pull some sticks. The short one wins. Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a little bit, but yeah, I
really
mean,
high HDL. No, yeah, that's a good one. But no, yeah, I mean, it's just speaking. We have him, like I guess probably it revolves around the budget. It revolves around it being Jason Segel and Judd Apatow teaming up. We knew this movie was going to be good. We knew what it was going to be from the start, and that was a fantastic movie. So like just the secondary characters in this, and I'm not talking like we mentioned like Bill Hader, we have Liz Kukowski, Jonah Hill, Paul Rudd, Kristen Wiig, all of them, but literally down to like William, one of the Baldwin brothers is just the funny throwaway comment guy in Sarah Marshall's fake TV shows. We have a really well-known sketch comedy person that is the virgin on his
Jack
honeymoon.
McBrayer.
Damn it! So I knew it was Jack McBrayer.
He was in
right.
So another in 30 Rock is unreal. He's till the day he dies.
I actually forgot to tee this up from the beginning. We do have a Jeopardy section. One of the true or falses. So I think that Jack McBrayer and Pete Holmes, if you know Pete Holmes, I love Pete Holmes, his stand-up, his podcast, his insights. I am a huge Pete Holmes guy. The first one, so let's get it out of the way. True or false for 100 is true or false, and it's that like it's like Pete Holmes, and then in parentheses HBO's crashing. It's just to try to like legitimize it a little is the guy, exactly. But no, it's Jack McBrayer. Just because I wanted to throw that in because they're the same person. But we have Jack McBrayer, Maria Thayer as the newlyweds. Like just so many fantastic cast members around in the smallest roles. Just because they filmed it in Hawaii, so like you're going to Hawaii. Well. Probably for most people, not all, but okay. I mean, the guy doesn't get much better.
Chemo.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, Chemo.
Taylor Wiley.
I think Wiley.
I feel like if you film a show in Hawaii, a show or a movie, there's some contractual obligation that he has to be in your show or movie. He's been in Hawaii 5-0. He's been in this.
Yep.
There's something that he's just got to be in there that just legitimizes it to another degree.
Well, it's because he is an extremely likable, friendly looking Samoan, Hawaiian looking person. And it's just like, it's easy, just throw him in there.
Literally the best. He's
I
the
love
guy
him.
who's just like, come here, give me a hug, give me a hug. And then it's like,
Hey.
everything's going to be okay if you're hugging that guy. That's fine. Yeah. He's like,
We
you just
might-
got broken up with. That's fine.
We might bring him up later. I'm not too sure.
Oh,
We ready to move on to an exclusives, or
Let's
do you have
do it.
another
Let's do it.
another flick take for us? All right. Says it, about to take a sip out of the bottle. Yeah.
Let's
by
do
the way,
it.
so shout out Hawaii, drinking a Kona during this. Really like that beer. A little shout out. No free ads though. Kona sponsored the pod. Moving
Great
on
beer.
to an exclusives, our section where we talk about hopefully lesser known facts from the movie. This is stuff we definitely didn't know about before researching it, so we just assume that it's not in the general zeitgeist. Some we know, but others.
Yeah.
So first one right here is that in the movie, Kristen Bell learns that her show gets canceled, or obviously Sarah Marshall learns that her show gets canceled. And something that I didn't know was that during filming, the day before her character learns, like the day before they film that her character learns that her show gets canceled, Kristen Bell was actually she was the lead in the show, Veronica Mars, and she got the call that it got canceled literally the day before that they shot that. That's bad karma. Like,
yeah. Didn't Netflix try to bring that back to Veronica Mars? Am I going crazy?
maybe. No, actually, now that you say it,
I
because
feel
I
like
never
they
would have
did,
thought about
right?
that.
I feel
think
like
you
there
might
was a
be
reboot.
right.
Either way, like that's just whether
That's
it
bad
was
karma.
good timing. I don't know because I feel like it played into the role a little bit, and it made the movie just a little bit better, just a little
know
bit
what?
better. Like
She
when
could
she
really
was doing
relate.
that scene,
That's
there was
fresh
that
emotion.
real emotion. Yeah, that's that director going tap into it.
Yeah. That's Judd being like, hey, I canceled your show for you. Now do well.
I made a few calls for this one scene.
You
knew
didn't want
it
to be in
wasn't
that
going
crap
anywhere.
anyways.
Yeah, you're going to be in an NBC sitcom in 2017. All right, good place. Let's get it going.
Hey,
That's what he said. He said, I'll make you a deal for the future. And then,
He
so
controls
going
Hollywood.
with the, honestly, guaranteed. Going with the female lead facts. Mila Kunis, during filming, she was in a jet ski accident. And I don't know if you noticed the little scar on her neck, but, that was because of the jet ski accident.
yeah, no, honestly, that's something I didn't know either. Was I think that it was either behind the scenes footage, or I'm assuming because this movie came out when Blu-ray was big, when DVD,
Yeah.
Blu-ray extras were big. So I watched something in it, and then everyone was kind of joking about it. They were saying that she got attacked by a werewolf or something. I guess Mila was just having a great time. She was just off on a jet ski, hit something, sliced her neck, and when
Yeah.
you get a cut around water or something, like say you're in a pool, any body of water really. I
Just
guess
a
it looked
little white.
awful. Like her
Yeah.
neck, it looked like it was like gushing blood. And she just like walked up and she's like, all right, let's shoot the scene, like pretending like nothing happened. And they were like, what? Like they thought that she was like
Yeah.
almost decapitated. It had to be crazy.
I mean, oh God, I can't imagine. That's the one thing that's an occupational hazard of filming something in Hawaii with young, attractive people, whether it was for the movie or not.
Yeah.
They're going to have a fucking blast. They're going to go
Look.
have a blast.
I love hearing this stuff because I don't know. There's something that's weird is like, look, might be a hot take for you, not respecting
Let's
the
hear
biz
it,
or
yeah.
whatever, but
Uh-huh.
something I've heard from actors, generally comedians have different takes just because like, an actor who's a comedian, they were talking about like how it's really not that hard. Like, especially like, rom-com acting, I guess, probably more
Yeah.
so. So like, if you can just go to Hawaii, and also like, look, you have to be a good actor. No doubt about that.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
taking anything away from actors. Every single person in this movie is fantastic, like I said. But it makes me like the movie more knowing that they just got to go to Hawaii and hang out. And I guess honestly, maybe you could look at it cynically, be like, oh, screw those people. They got to like, you're supposed to be doing this work and you're off on a jet ski. Like, no, let Mila
Like, you
Kunis go on a
wouldn't
jet ski,
be
get
doing
injured. Like,
the same thing. As
Exactly.
if you wouldn't be doing the same thing. You're 27. How old was she? I'm assuming 27. Probably younger. She looks, I mean, around that age. She's definitely in
Sure.
her 20s in that movie, or she has
27.
an anti-aging serum.
yeah.
So 27-year-old, I also am assuming that she's not with Ashton Kutcher, and she's just living her life on the jet skis and everything. She's just
Ashton
doing her
Kutcher.
stuff. Ashton Kutcher. She's just doing her stuff. And, you know, if you get in a jet ski accident, I'm going to be honest, I'd do the same thing. I'd go on jet skis. I'd live it up in Hawaii. How many times
yeah.
are you going to be in Hawaii?
Yeah, no, there's especially her, like there are certain things that I've heard about her that she's just kind of like, I don't know, maybe not a wild child, but like she
But awesome?
she started acting pretty young and she was just, you know, she's a person just like everyone else. Like these
Well-known.
stars are like these, you know, these mega stars where we look at them as these non-humans basically, but
For what
They're
reason?
human.
They're
That's
just
awesome.
People. They're just people who have a slightly more public-facing job.
yeah. I also like how we dived into that whole thing pretending like there were people like saying that it was a problem for her to be doing that. We totally
Yeah,
just
like-
made up that narrative.
Yeah, absolute issue. On
yeah,
set,
no,
cause
there's
a
still
lot
people
of
that do that.
no, but also, like, I think this is pretty well known. But she speaks fluent Russian. I mean,
Well,
that's awesome.
she is Russian.
She's
yeah.
from. I thought she was Ukrainian. Is she Russian?
Or oh yeah, right. Sorry. I think she is Ukrainian. Yeah.
yeah,
Shout out Mila Kunis. But
she's awesome.
so her love affair, Jason Segel. He so something that's really funny and actually something I didn't know. This might be something that people know because they might have looked it up. I just assume whenever I see a naked person on a Hollywood screen that it's fake. But apparently Jason Segel just decided to go full frontal. Apparently we actually saw Jason Segel's manhood down below and he didn't tell his mom about it. So he was just like, oh, go to this movie. It's going to be great. This is my movie. He thought it would be funny to not tell her. So she saw him just like completely naked being broken up with. And she left the theater crying. And she had to like come back in to watch the rest of the movie. She emailed people about the movie or people meeting her family members. Like, hey, just letting you know, this is going to happen in the movie, but it's really important to the story. she knew. She's like, I had to be in there. Like, you're going to have to watch it. Just got to, you know, this is what I do with horror movies. I just kind of watch like the corner of the screen. So you kind of get your peripherals. I feel like that's what you got to do when your family member's dick is just right on the screen.
Yeah, no, there's no other response to that. I feel like that's a guttural response that you can't really control if you're a mother.
No,
Whether you're
absolutely
expecting
not.
it or not,
Yeah.
once you're past the age of 1.5, I feel like that's pretty much warranted.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I feel
look. I'm not setting an age on when that's acceptable and when it's not. But let's just say when it's
I'm
a
gonna set
grown
the
man
age. I'm gonna set the
on.
age. I think I'm gonna set the age there.
Set the age for us.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2. 2. I'm gonna
Two?
set the
Okay,
age.
fair.
If they can't wash themselves,
You
just
said it
set
at
the
2.
age.
I like that. All I know is that when he's a grown man on a screen that's being filmed in front of, or that's being shown in front of millions, I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
Mrs. Siegel.
no. Do you think it was more scarring for her to see it or to know that millions of people were going to see it?
I bet it's both. You know, like
But what was
I
her
don't
initial
think.
thought?
Yeah,
Was
no,
it
you know
like-
what? It has to be
Yeah.
millions of people because like it's
Yeah.
nothing she hasn't seen before. She gave birth to the dude. Like she just doesn't want him fully naked on camera in front of millions of people.
Very understandable. I feel like that's a good point.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom. We're releasing a YouTube video later.
So-
Check it out. It should be released Wednesday. What?
Yeah. And then, so on top of that nudity, following the nudity trend, Jason Segel, obviously, we just learned, showed his full schlong. But the topless picture of Mila Kunis that is in the bar bathroom that everybody is wondering, like, was it real? Was it fake? Obviously, when you're watching the movie, it was fake. Everybody,
especially at a certain age. Yeah.
especially,
Another one
90s
you
kids
assume was
thought
fake.
it was real,
But like confirmed it was fake.
confirmed very fake.
Yeah.
Sorry to disappoint
Judd,
those who
Judd
are
released
wondering.
that. He's like, nah, CGI. We got it.
Yeah, just absolutely fake, and that's not even a question. So you got one real nudity scene, and I
Yeah,
don't
you got
think
to
it
see
was the
Jason
one you were
Segel's dick.
expecting. I feel like most people think it's the opposite, but I think there's good enough logic behind it to think that it's not.
No, something I saw though is that it's funny. Well, obviously, I honestly just think that's probably a thing with even, let's say, Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Sure,
no, the
maybe
Khaleesi
if you
did
see
that.
someone's, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know that's a body double. When you see a
Yeah.
woman's naked body on a screen, you just kind of know it's a body double. When it's a guy, it's like I'm assuming that's a prosthetic penis. Like I'm not sure, but in terms of this movie, Jason Segel actually said he thinks that it's funnier, and I totally agree, for a male to be full frontal. He's like, it's funny when guys are naked. There's nothing that's funny when a girl's naked.
No,
Because like it kind of what he said, and I think that this is true for like even a lot of women when they see naked women. There's just something that like he's like your mind shuts off, and like not shuts off, but like it
You forget where you-
detracts from the comedy. Whereas
the
like
story fades.
yeah, even if you don't realize, I feel like that's probably a subconscious. But like there's nothing that's like sexy about like every single naked guy. I don't care if you're that like sexy. There's just something that's weird about seeing a naked guy. I think for a lot of people, especially on a screen. I think it's mainly because it's like just very unexpected. So like when you see Jason Segel being broken up with naked, it's like, what? It's just like what?
Yeah, it's something that's been voodoo in Hollywood for a very, very long time. I think since the inception of film, it's almost been like, look, if we're gonna do it, a woman can be nude, but if a man's nude, like that's gonna throw the viewers off. And this just completely fucking threw that on its head.
Yep, which I loved.
And it worked when he's sitting on the couch fully nude and he's just like, let's talk about it. If I put my clothes back on, I know it's over. Like that's unreal.
Funny. So another quick one, before I give another one, that Jason Segel, the only reason that this was like thought of is because this has happened to him in real life. He got naked broken up with, which I think is pretty well known. Like he's been quoted saying that. Just want to make sure everyone listening to this knows, like he did get broken up with while he was naked. And then also he put on clothes midway through the breakup. And he was like, the most awkward he was like, the hardest outfit choice you could ever have is when you're mid breakup with someone and you have to decide what you want to wear for the second half of the breakup.
Putting clothes on when she's like, it's not you, it's me. Like you're just throwing,
like, what do you do?
You're like, do I want jeans or do I want just sweatpants that I can?
Gotta go sweatpants. Like you gotta be comfortable.
There's nothing else that.
Yeah. On to our next one. Speaking of his naked breakup. So the song, it's sung by Russell Brand. I think that there's a music video part of it. The song Inside of You was thought up by Segel because he was like, what is the worst song that your girlfriend's new boyfriend can sing in front of you? Just like the worst thing you could think of. And he just started writing the lyrics to it. And that's what came out, which I don't know about you. Great song.
Honestly, I think it's the catchiest song in a comedy movie that we've had.
Yeah,
like I haven't seen Eurovision because I know that there's a few songs from that like are on TikTok and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's one from the Iceland cast or something like that that's blowing up. But I think catchiness and overall longevity. Inside of You is a song that sticks with you because of its lyrics, and you forget the lyrics almost because of the catchiness. Like it just sounds good, and then you listen, it's like Inside of You, and you're like,
well,
excuse me?
So yeah, we mentioned Genman the Greek, the spinoff with Aldous Snow. They released an album that had a bunch of Infant Sorrow songs on it. And I mean, like, honestly, very good songs. Like, they're not going to half-ass anything. These songs are very good. So, like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't forget the words inside of you. I have listened to that and my family, shout out the family.
Yep.
It's been listened to a few times. I'll say that.
I mean, how could you not?
No,
I
haven't
haven't heard the album in its entirety, and I feel like after this rewatch, I need to go now and watch Get Him to the Greek again.
Oh, you
Because
definitely
the
should.
One thing that stands out is when they smoke that laced joint. And what is it? The Jeffrey? Yeah, the Jeffrey.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, pet the walls, that whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
just pet the wall. Just pet the wall. That whole thing
that
is
scene
unreal.
is so good. All right.
We're smoking the Jeffrey.
Yeah, I'm gonna. How about we move on? We'll play a little Jeopardy here.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, let me get queued up here. And here comes Forgetting Sarah Marshall Jeopardy. So, we're a little late to it, but that's just how our recording schedule works. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. Always talking about the best genres.
Genre.
All right, 100 true or false. We're done here. Pete Holmes.
Yep.
HBO's Crashing plays Newlywed. All right.
Got that one.
No, it's Jack McBrayer.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? We got one guy.
All right, Alex. Can we go by the numbers for 100?
By the numbers for 100. Also, I'm not making you say it in a question format. Rotten Tomato scores.
What is 86%?
You can do it. No, so there's critic and then audience.
Oh, so what is audience? 91%, and what is critic? 84%.
Wrong. We have 83% critic.
I was so close to
audience.
critic. Okay.
Well, yeah, but also you said 91% audience. That's 15% off.
I
also,
feel like
it says something. There are certain movies that the critic is higher than the audience. This I actually would have expected. Well, actually,
Yeah.
I did
I
expect
would
them
have
to be
expected
pretty
audience.
on par. Just because, think about it critically, like it's a good movie, especially in terms of rom-coms. But most of my movies I like are audience heavy.
Really surprised about that one being audience low.
What do you want to do now?
All right, so let's go. Let's stick with by the numbers 200.
Round 200 is budget to box office. You guessed the budget and the box office.
So
Obviously,
I'm going to
you're not going to
assume
get this spot on, but
I'm going to assume the budget was 11 million
okay.
and the box office was 66 million.
All right. So the budget was actually 30 million and the worldwide. So I did worldwide box office.
Yeah.
That's 105.8 million. Do you want 300?
Jeez. Yes, let's go 300. Let's keep it consistent.
All right.
Domestic
so the
percent of box office.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want the percentage. Okay. So I'm thinking this isn't like a Dwayne La Rock Johnson movie where it's going to do huge numbers overseas. Going to be honest.
Okay.
I'm thinking 76% domestic.
So it was actually only like 60% domestic.
Really?
Which I was pretty surprised about. It did pretty well overseas. Like better than I thought it would have. So just for the people listening and not watching, we have categories. I forgot to read them through. We have finish the line, we have proper nouns, and then we still have 2 in true or false. So
I'm going to go finish the line for 3.
Okay, so Winnie is going to finish this line at 100. So Jonah Hill says, I just went from
6 to midnight.
6 to midnight is the answer. That's an easy one. That was the 100 one. Would you like to go down the line? 200?
Let's go. No, let's go proper nouns for 100. Let's switch it up. Let's switch it up.
All right. Proper nouns. Also, you can kind of think of it as a finish the line because they always say it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I made it so it's just a question. So we have Paul Rudd's character, Chuck. What is his Hawaiian name?
Kunu.
Yeah.
Because he looked it up on a
it.
database.
Is it? Yeah. Kudu. So
He
now
looked it up on a
we're
database.
we've knocked out the 100s for finish the
Okay.
line, proper nouns, and true or false. What would you like to move on to?
So let's go true or false again for 200.
All right. True or false for 200. This was Jason Segel's second time doing a Dracula musical.
It's enticing because of the amount that he knew, it seems like, about Dracula and the novels, or not the novels, just the like how to do a Dracula play. I want to go true, but I'm going to go false.
It actually is true.
Oh my
He wrote a Dracula musical and then kind of threw it in here too. You want to do true or false for 300 now?
Let's go finish the
People
line.
listening at home. Let's keep the people listening
all right,
at home
let's go.
in order
Let's go
here.
true false 300.
True or false for 300. Kristen Bell was in a movie about a killer cell phone.
Now,
her
is this
character-
within the movie? Okay, her character. Yes, that's
Right,
true.
right. I'm saying Kristen Bell, the actress.
That's true. Yep. And they made fun of it the entire dinner about how
Yeah.
irrational it was. Like, just take
That's
the battery
true.
out.
Yeah, she starred in Pulse, a horror movie that actually I realized had it's a trilogy. They made a 2 and a 3 out of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for her character. Let's go proper
right.
now 200.
All right, so we can go proper nouns for 200. The first one was Chuck's Hawaiian name, Kudu.
Mm-hmm.
This one, he gives Siegel a Hawaiian name.
Pio
What is that name?
Pio Pini or Pio
It's close. It's close. I'll
Pio
accept that.
Piani.
Pipiopi. Pipiopi. He is that's the name he gives. I have nothing else to add there.
Now, is this
Ready
the time
for-
in Jeopardy where you ask me an anecdote that nobody cares about, or are we skipping that?
We're skipping that. We're going
cool.
down the line. Again, we'll keep the listeners kind of in order here. We're gonna do another proper nouns for you. Let's do 300. So we
Okay,
did the
let's do it.
Hawaiian names. Now we're gonna do the state fish of Hawaii.
Huma huma nuka nuka akapuao.
Yeah, good enough.
Huma
good
huma
enough.
nuka nuka apuao. Huma
Huma nuku
nuka nuka kua puao.
What's the state fish of Hawaii? Bitch.
He just goes huma nuka nuka puao.
All right. Now we only have left finish the line for 200 and 300. I'm assuming you want 200.
Let's do it. Let's go 200.
All right. Finish the line. When life gives you lemons, just say
Fuck the lemons.
and.
And keep going.
No, okay. That's,
Fuck the lemons. Just say fuck the lemons and bail.
Yep.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd's character. When life gives you lemons, just say fuck the lemons and bail. But just an all-time line. Because I didn't put this as my favorite one in our Google Doc that we keep, just because I didn't want Winnie to see the line, obviously. But that's probably my favorite one.
It's up there. It's definitely
Rounding out Jeopardy here. We don't
Let's
have
do it.
Double Jeopardy. We don't have Final Jeopardy. We have finished the line for 300. I think the finish line
Is this a daily double?
This is the daily double, yeah.
All right,
So
I'll
Bill
wager
Hader says, you don't need to put your P in a V right now. And Jason Segel responds, no, I need to blank.
Yeah, it's more. It's like I need to.
So Hader, you don't need
Yeah.
to put your P in a V
P
right
in a
now.
V.
Siegel. No, I need to You have 5 seconds.
I know that I need to like put my P in an A and F.
Yeah.
Put my P in
kinda.
a V and F. Like
All right.
it's
You don't need to put your P in a V right now. No, I need to B my L on someone's T's.
yep.
We'll let the
Damn.
audience at home figure that one out. But I'd say you did pretty well. I think I made them pretty easy. This last one was pretty difficult, but hopefully the people listening at home were able to keep track. I think that was more of a visual one. I think that was probably pretty fun. I hope you had a good time, Winnie. I hope people were able to listen along with it and guess, because that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure that people had the opportunity to guess along with it. So let's move on. This is our favorite section. We'll kind of try to run through it. Winnie, because I always take the favorite characters, favorite scenes, favorite lines. Let's start it with character for character. Give me your favorite.
100,000% Paul Rudd.
Yep.
Paul Rudd.
It didn't matter who it was going to be. If it was me or you,
Yep.
we were taking Paul Rudd.
It was Paul Rudd. Yeah. He's easily the number one. It just starts off when he's giving the surfing lesson and they're in the water. There's at least 7 lines within that 3-minute scene that are just quotable. Whether it's the weather outside is weather, his character, like when Jason Segel walks up to him at the bar later and he goes, "Hey man, I'm Kuno." He goes, "We had a surf lesson earlier today." Like
he is by far, and like I think a lot of the time, and I say a lot of the time, like we've been doing this for a while, but with these kind of movies, when there is a clear protagonist that's awesome, I feel like it's easy for us to be like, no, let's think of something different. Let's think of it a different way. This movie, I genuinely think Paul Rudd is the best character. Like, absolutely. I don't think there's any way about it or way around it.
There's no question in my mind that he is the best character in this entire movie.
Yeah, no, me neither. Every single line that he delivers is an absolute gold mine. It's unreal. Paul Rudd at the top of his game. You took him from me. I'll go number 2. We mentioned him before. So, like I said, I was going to mention him again. You know what? I want you to give me Chemo. I want you to give it to him. He is the most likable person, I think, in any movie ever. It's just like, and like down to the point where they're killing the pig, like the wild boar. And Jason Segel's crying. He's like, "Okay, you can stop crying now." Like he just gives him a hug.
He's already dead.
He's this big fat lovable teddy bear. Like does not get much better than him.
Yep.
I gotta give it to him. You know, I could be easy and go. You know, I guess
maybe
Bill
Segel,
Hader.
You could go
Bill Hader would be up there, but he doesn't play enough.
I don't think he's in it enough to do that.
Nope. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, honestly, I don't have much else to add. What? How about scene for scene? What's your favorite scene?
The surfing lesson with Paul Rudd. We got to keep it consistent.
Again. Like,
I mean, there's nothing better than that. You literally cannot get better than that scene at all. And I'm going to be honest, half of the lines that I wanted to write down for line were solely from that scene or the one where Jason Segel crashes into Russell Brand, and then on the beach, Paul Rudd is just there, and they're like, "Call the main desk," and he's like, "Okay," and just stands there for like 10 seconds, and he's like, "Do it now." He's like, "All right, man." Like I forget what he says right there.
Coral on his leg, and he has to like call the front desk. He's like, "You sound like you're from London." That one, as a kid, like when this came out and I was watching it, there was no higher comedy to me than Paul Rudd saying, "You sound like you're from London," and it still holds up.
He's just bleeding profusely. He's like, I am from London, yeah.
Paul Rudd, I mean that whole scene, just unreal. Mine, I actually think I have a weird love for the entire process. Like we have the piano versions before. We have this Dracula musical. It's kind of like this mystical thing. We don't know much about it. But in the end, when it turns into a full, true rom-com that's just so happy, somehow they make me think that I could actually like to go to a Dracula musical in a theater and be like, "Oh, this is awesome." Like the Dracula musical scene. Yeah, the puppeteered thing is so funny. Shout out Bill Hader in this as well, because I think it makes it so much funnier that Bill Hader's just screaming at the top of his lungs instead of singing. It goes on a little too long. I think that could be looked at as the corniest thing. Like, if that wasn't done well, that would be so stupid. But since it's Bill Hader and it's in this scene, it's just fantastic. as a close number 2, I would have to say that scene. Honestly, it's a heartwarming scene because then also you have Jason Segel with Mila Kunis in the end, which is fantastic. But that scene also, like, honestly, fantastic musical music. I'm not too big on musicals, but I'm also not like, I don't know. I'm not that cynical about them. Like, oh, all musicals suck. Like,
Yeah. Who do you watch?
Rocket Man. Yeah,
What are you,
like I thought
Hamilton
Rocket
guy?
Man was a fantastic movie. Even the beginning when it was just a pure musical. Like the musical number is actually really good, and for whatever reason, it's good. I guess it's like funny too, the way he sings, which you just might have seen or see something about Woody and I trying to do something like that with a little twist on our social media pages. So if you know what I'm talking about, check our social media pages if you've actually listened to this whole thing, and
You'll see
see what we're talking about.
See something fun.
Yeah,
Not for us, but something fun.
all right. I'm gonna start with line for line.
Let's do it.
I gotta admit, just because I took the first ones with line for line, because I'm honestly wondering if people were thinking this when we were talking about the movie and we didn't mention Paul Rudd at all, because Paul Rudd, we have him as favorite character. We have his predominant scene, his favorite scene. Both of my favorite lines are Paul Rudd lines. This isn't my favorite one. My second one is the favorite one. But actually, no, this isn't a Paul Rudd line. Sorry.
No, it is.
Just that. Oh yeah. Sorry. I was wrong. I was thinking about a different one. Yeah, I saw him beat a guy with a starfish. He's talking about her ex, like this. We don't know him at all. We don't know about this character at all. It's this, I guess, evil, basically like figure. And then you just hear Paul Rudd saying that he saw him beat up a guy with a starfish is hilarious.
And then he goes, "That guy was me."
Yeah, that guy was me. That guy was me makes it so much better too. What's your...
Mine is Jonah Hill as the waiter, which we haven't really mentioned too much, but he is the craziest Aldous Snow fan, absolute psycho.
Yeah.
Just getting in their business at all times. I mean, whether it's him calling Jason Segel depressed when he's walking over the dinner or the dinner table by himself. He's like, "You want a magazine or anything?" But my favorite line is when he walks up to Jason Segel eating alone at the buffet, and he goes, "You done here?" And Jason Segel's like, "No, I actually just sat down. I'm just getting started. It's delicious though. Thank you." And he just goes under his breath. He's like, "I'll just go fuck myself." And Jason Segel's like, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "Mahalo," and just walks away.
Mahalo. By the way, that one, I'm telling you. So you said something last week. I forget what it was, but there are certain lines that I know for a fact I'm going to see on our Google Doc once you write them down. That one for sure I knew. The "all right, I'll go fuck myself" is perfect for you. I mean, the most Winnie line as Winnie lines get.
I love it. I love it.
It's so good.
All right.
No, I mean,
I'll just go fuck
so
myself.
That's become like I don't know if it's become a cultural staple, but I know like in terms of mine and our friends' repertoire, like just to say that's common. And I honestly, I'm sure that it didn't come directly from that, but it's one of the first.
Oh, it's definitely, I'd say when I say it, it's from that. It's referencing.
I think that's fair.
What about you? What's your number 2?
Another Paul Rudd one. I don't know I think that the "Life Gives You Lemons" one is my favorite, but number 2, I guess when they're talking about it and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't use my watch out here." And then Jason Segel's like, "Oh, that's so cool." He's like, "Yeah, no, my cell phone." Then he's like, "Well, how old are you anyways?" And this is the line that I really like. He goes, "Guess if you had to put a number," or he's like, "I don't really believe in that stuff. But I guess if you had to put a number on it, I guess I'd be 44." Fuck. Like even older than you would expect, but he's like this kind of old guy who's just like dumb happy all the time. Yeah. Just like he says it sounds so cool. He's like, "I don't really believe in any of that stuff," but he knows it. Like he's He's like,
Yep.
oh, I don't really like know the time, but like he uses his cell phone. He's just
He's like, I don't wear a watch anymore. And he's like, oh, that's so cool. He goes, yeah, my cell phone has a clock on it now.
yeah.
He goes,
It's like, oh, so kind of the same
Because-
thing.
kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I just love. I guess when you put a number on it, I guess I'd be 44. Fuck.
Just so good.
Yeah.
My last one, it's so tough to pick because I could go the Paul Rudd route because there's so many more. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw in an honorable mention, which I've said for probably 10 years. It's the weather outside is weather. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something so dumb, but it's so funny. But for me, it's another Jonah Hill when he walks up and he goes to Aldous Snow, Russell Brand, and goes, "How's the food?" And Russell Brand goes, "It is mundane." And he goes, "It's great, I know." Like,
Jonah
oh
Hill
yeah,
did have a lot of good lines in this. Like, he's in a limited role, but I mean, he does. It's Jonah Hill. He's gonna kill it. you
yeah,
know?
absolutely.
No doubt about that.
I just went from 6 to midnight. If that wasn't in jeopardy,
Dude, I'm telling you, I knew for a fact you were going to mention it at some point. That's another one.
Yeah.
Like, I knew you were going to mention. So I was like, I'm just going to put it in here. It's like the number one, like the 100. I didn't know how many I was going to do. I was thinking at timing. I was like 3 for each seems reasonable.
yeah, no, definitely.
The 100s were pretty easy.
That one-
other than the
He's
numbers.
listening to the song, just he tucks it and he goes, "I just went from 6 to midnight."
Yeah. Really funny.
It's
really
so good.
funny.
Yeah, this movie in all is absolutely perfection, and I think definitely jumped up to I'd say my number 3.
Number 3. All right. I'm
Yeah.
keeping it at 4. Honestly, I really don't know. I'm excited after we've rewatched and done podcasts on all of our top 10s, honorable mentions kind of thing, like firm it up. I want to see where these movies kind of end up, especially these kind of movies, like the greats of the great, you know?
Yeah.
Because also another thing, and I forgot to mention this in the beginning, like, okay, Forgetting Sarah Marshall is a movie that if you think that you're more interesting than you are, you're going to be like, oh, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, like, you know, what are you going to listen to Mo Bamba now? Like, it's so mainstream, man. You know why people like these movies? It's because they're fantastic. Like, Forgetting Sarah Marshall is a staple because it's such a good movie. And there's no way around that. You're not interesting because you think that you like better movies. We also like those movies, but we recognize the fact that Judd Apatow, if it's a Judd Apatow movie, it's on your top 10. It's as simple as that.
I mean, the
I'm a Judd
guy works
Apatow
magic.
guy.
He works magic. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. He does his thing, and it's always good, no matter what.
Yep. And again, probably a lot of new listeners. That's the kind of people we are. We're not really deep film guys.
There's a couple tossed in there, you know.
Movies. Yeah, but for the most part,
we'll get to.
How about this? We're not film guys to the point where we'll be like, no, Judd Apatow. It's just so ridiculous. Like
we appreciate
a Judd Apatow movie.
We're not ignorant. We're appreciative of everything.
Let's keep gassing ourselves up.
No, just tell us more good things about ourselves.
If
that's our new segment.
Comment how great we are. No, but if you did listen to this and you're still with us and you enjoyed it, please, honestly, spread the word. Please tell your friends. We're really trying to start growing. So, again, like I said in the beginning, like, rate, subscribe if you could, do all that good stuff. We'd really appreciate it. We really appreciate the social followers, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, any last words for the people? Any last Forgetting Sarah Marshall words?
I mean, other than the fact that this movie is going to be in the zeitgeist forever, I mean, I'm glad I got to rewatch it.
It's always a great rewatch. There's no doubt about that. Looks like the Vikings beat the Bears by 6.
They pulled it out.
I had a feeling that was coming, and I should have done something with that information.
Should have done the opposite. Yep.
Yeah. All right. I think that's about all we have. I'm Kevin.
Now I'm Winnie. You throwing doodle paper. Doodle paper.
Okay, I got this one this time.